Breaking news. Well, more like awkward. This is really awkward because I think at the end of the show last night, I said, "Oh, Punk's not coming back. He's not going to be on Backstage."
That is what you said.
Yeah, and literally, we finished the show. I wrap it up and everything. This is before I even like edit it and everything, like I usually do. I'm watching Backstage, and at the end of the show, very end of the show, like the best cliffhanger of the decade. It's just a shame that no one watches the show.
I'll say this. I fell asleep while watching.
Yeah, I
the
know,
show.
because even during the episode when we were recording it, you were like, "I'm going to watch it and I'm going to go to sleep."
Yeah. I legitimately got in bed as I was watching it, and all I remember was they did the promo thing that I didn't want to see with Fluffy, and I was like, "All right, I'm out. I'm tapping out." But
after that, they announced that they have a surprise, or Renee announced that there's a surprise. And you remember I was saying, like, Christian and Booker, they're not like permanent. Like Paige isn't permanent. And then they announced freaking CM Punk.
CM Punk came back with first of all, his music's still intact. That's a very major thing.
And you know what's funny about the whole thing? Adam Cole and Samoa Joe were like, "What?" Adam Cole and Samoa Joe were like, "What the hell?"
I don't know if they felt upstaged at the moment.
I think Joe was legitimately happy, and I think Adam Cole was like, "Holy!" Like, it was cool to see his reaction when Punk walked into the set, and Renee was just loving every second of it. Like, we got him.
This is an incredible moment by all. I mean, CM Punk is officially, back in some sort of capacity. I think what the official role is, or at least what they're choosing to say, because they're very careful with their words, is that he'll be periodically featured on WWE Backstage. I don't know if that's a full-time basis. It doesn't sound like full-time basis, or else I don't think they would have mentioned periodically. But it seems like this, moving forward in things, we can expect CM Punk on WWE Backstage, and CM Punk, and back in the WWE in some sort of capacity. It's like, I think it was the most shocking news that wasn't heard for pretty much the first 8 hours that it happened, considering how many people, just weren't awake at the time.
Yeah, or they just don't watch the show.
That as well. But we talked about it on the show in terms of how WWE Backstage, I'm sure more people will be watching now, especially next week, because CM Punk will be on the show next week. I don't know if we have to do we're still figuring out the A show for next week as well. But man, like, this is incredible. This is jaw-dropping. This is what people thought previously would never happen, and now he's officially back.
We had a show literally this year about CM Punk's exit.
Yes.
If you want to check that out, it's on I believe it's on the RNC channel.
I believe it's on the RNC channel. It may be on the A Show channel. If not, I can always upload it. Like, it's not even a big deal. Like, I feel.
Yeah, I think we should re-upload it, reshare this episode. You'll see it, a link of it. My reaction was laughter. I was like, "This is incredible." Again,
the bag.
Yeah, the bag is too profound right now. I think that the timing is right. Who do you think reached out?
Had to be Triple H, right?
Yeah.
Had to be, I would say, in terms of just because of his entire basis for, I won't say his entire basis for leaving, but a large part of it was how he perceived Triple H in sort of this capacity, and kind of what was either miscommunicated or what was interpreted by him from the things that Triple H has done as an executive. But 5 years later, I think he's become a lot more savvy of an executive. I think he's become a lot more closer to the talent and kind of seen the wrongs that he's done and the right things that he's done, and able to assess it accordingly. I think for WWE to acquire not only just CM Punk, but also Ryan Satin, a couple other people, sort of more established and more like authentic, more people with credibility in the sport. They're really going for it this time around. They're not playing any games at all.
Yeah. Again, speechless. Even though
we're still speechless.
There are people that don't watch watch wrestling or haven't watched in a long time that are legitimately texting me like, "Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it?" It's like, it reminds me well, it's not on the level of the pipe bomb, but it's still a big moment. Like the video's over 1 million views. That's more people that were probably watching that show last night.
Right.
Just like kind of like, let's talk about the framing of the fact that he's on Backstage. Like, how long do you think this lasts before he's back on a network show?
So I think, and that's a good question, because a lot of people, I mean, we see Seth Rollins tweeting him now, "Fight me at CM Punk."
Yeah.
And, you know, I think he's going to resist it for as long as he can until he can no longer resist it anymore. I think if the opportunity presents itself to him to have this really monumental match that he's been wanting to have at a WrestleMania for quite some time, this match, that a main event match, a match that kind of takes him to the next level, even if it's his like official retirement match, I think it happens eventually. I think it really does. Like, he's already in the orbit, so it's not too much for him to be eventually pulled in with everything that's going on with so I say, I don't know about Tampa. Or
I listen, it's November, Meelz. Anything can happen from now in November. We know how this works. This man is not watching Raw and SmackDown and NXT every week.
I you know what? I don't think he's going to be at if I had to guess, I wouldn't say WrestleMania Tampa, maybe the WrestleMania afterwards. Considering I'm sure
that's a heavy bet. I think that I think the ticket prices just went up just for the possibility of that happening.
Nah, I mean,
or at least him showing up on the television show at that point.
I think their entire WrestleMania pre-show will feature CM Punk. Because that's an attraction as well, to make sure people tune into the pre-show as well. So I think he still has some sort of value from a standpoint of like, okay, we need him to help promote these other shows that we've got going on as well. But I do think eventually he slides back into the ring. I don't think it's going to be as soon as Tampa, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
We're recording this. It is now on the East Coast. It is 10:14 a.m. On the West Coast, it is 7:14 a.m.
Yeah, the show will be airing imminently. I just walked Roman, so he's back again as a guest. He's like, "Damn, again?"
Yeah. It is what it is at this point. But this was news big enough where we had to pretty much jump in and grab a hold of this before we give you the episode today.
So CM Punk watch is over. The watch has ended again
in record time. Sin Cara watch?
Nah, hell no.
Okay. I mean, we talk about Sin Cara a lot in this episode. We should actually preview the episode. I'm going to put this at the beginning of the episode. So we're going to preview a lot of things on the episode. That includes, we're going to talk about Sin Cara. We're going to talk about a lot of the WWE programming that we've gotten into, kind of their, like, how they're trying to capture audiences a little bit. We're going to talk about a little bit of Full Gear. So if you're interested in Full Gear, we're definitely talking about that. And we're talking about, of course, the main shows, the main storylines, Rusev Lana, and kind of that whole shtick on that, and everything sort of moving forward. So if you're interested, I mean, sure enough, you're interested. You're listening to this podcast right now. Make sure you stay tuned, because we got more of the A Show coming up next.
And just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them. You thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin, here with Meelz and special guest on location, Roman the Big Dog. His third episode on the A Show. How do you feel about that, Meelz? How do you feel about that?
He's living life, man. He's relaxing. He's maxing. He's all types of things. He's a big dog. He's cool. He's just cool. I don't know.
He's been on here almost as many times as that guy Greg at this point.
Well, you know, Maybe we get Greg on. Greg and Roman, the power duo. Maybe we figure that one out. I am currently watching Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls pretty much send David Fizdale to the unemployment line. So,
it's over.
We're in our final days. That's all I can say. The man has legitimately shot 5 threes in the fourth quarter. It's
At what point do you just contract the Knicks?
I don't know. I don't think it's in my spirit, to be honest with you. Like, as much as I want to just disown them, I don't have any other team to go to. I don't particularly like anyone else. Like, they don't have that underdog mentality. I mean, the Knicks aren't. I mean, beyond just being underdogs, they kind of just plain old suck. But it's always kind of interesting.
I think they're a level below even the underdogs. They're just dogs.
They're just all right. Well, I don't know what to say. It's a terrible team. A terrible team that we have this. But even then, it's just this bad. 5 threes, 1 quarter. Jesus Christ, we were just tied. Nonetheless, living through my final days is enjoying whatever was left of this next season. I think it's pretty much over, and we're only like 11 games in. But
he's giving up. They can make a 70-game run. Meelz.
They could make a 70-game run. You would have to think that they would have the competence on the field to make a 70-game run, but I honestly don't see it. The only thing I'm looking forward to at this point is like playing Pokemon on Friday and I guess Survivor Series. I mean, that looks pretty good too.
Yes, Survivor Series and Pokemon. I think we're all getting the game like for the first time ever. We're just gonna all cop Pokemon at once and be playing at the same time. I can't wait for the race of I'm already at this gym.
I never do that because I really don't give a shit. I kind of move at my own pace. Particularly, I like to explore. I like to look around. I like to talk to people. I'm just
You talk to every NPC in the game.
I like to enjoy. I mean, they're there for a reason, right?
Yeah, true.
NPCs have feelings too. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, I mean, that's my life right now. How's your life going? How's everything with the Roman and etc.?
Roman is walking outside now, so he runs the streets. It's going really well. I think the one thing he's afraid of is he's not going to be like, a shoo-in for Rey Mysterio or even any type of high flyer at all. He's afraid of going down steps. So whenever there's a stair, he's not with it. He just stops. He completely stops in his tracks. He's not with it. He's not a stair guy.
We'll get there. You get there one step by step, Roman.
He won't have a stair match at TLC, like it's not going to happen with him.
It's just not. I don't know. Oh my God. All right. We have to talk about stuff. Please distract me from the Knicks.
All right.
And their woes now.
Speaking of high flying and feelings, Sin Cara this week went on Twitter to announce, and you just hate to see this whenever they do it, announced that he put in for his release from the WWE.
Well, I don't know if he you can request the release. I don't know. It will be put in.
You can do a lot of things.
I mean, the people have Twitters, they have tweets, they have thoughts. I assume everyone has thoughts, everyone has tweets, something like that. What we're learning from the WWE is you can request the release, but you will not be released.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. It was reported by Cage Side Seats by way of, I believe, the PW Torch, that he has 3 years left on his deal.
We just talked about how he signed a new deal. I think it was one of a
year ago.
Yeah, we talked about he got sneakers, he got championship shots, he was on SmackDown a couple of weeks in a row. He had that great series against Andrade around the same time that he came back. So don't get me wrong. This is another case of people who have allegedly want their release. Well, this one actually wants their release. But in terms of just Sin Cara, I think in general, I'm sure he feels like he definitely has good years still left on him. And he's like in this role where he doesn't feel like he wants to be. And I can't really blame him for that. Yeah. I wouldn't blame someone for aspiring to be more, only for people to not see you as much.
Whoa. And that's what I was going to bring up. Sin Cara said in the when you translate it, he said he feels as though he's not being used to the best of his ability.
Mm-hmm.
And to that I say, okay, Luke Harper. Maybe not okay, Mike Bennett, whatever. Sin Cara? For real?
But all right, so here's the thing. Here's my thing with
This guy
Sin Cara.
is a botch machine. He's infamous not for his matches. He's infamous for botches and beating people up.
Well, first of all, the first Sin Cara was infamous for botches. Do you remember? That was a whole other Sin Cara. It just was. The second Sin Cara, less botchy. However, the hands. I mean, you got to respect the hands at some point. With that said, I think, you know what? I can't blame him. I mean, I honestly can't blame him. I'm sure he's looking at people. I'm sure he's looking at friggin' Ty Dillinger, being able to talk his talk, walk his walk at AEW. And we'll get to that at some point. But I'm sure he's looking at him. And he's like, yo, if he can do it, I'm sure that's what it is. It's one of those situations where if he can do it, I know I can do it. I always felt that.
Based on Ty Dillinger, and yes, we actually do have to get to him because
I mean he's apparently he's joined the I Hate J5 train. So
yeah, so there we go.
As
soon as you mentioned Shawn Spears, Ty Dillinger, the 10 guy, Roman started going crazy.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, at this point, yes. However, you know what? I can't blame Sin Cara for trying to be more or aspire to be more. I feel like, you know what? You never know. We thought, I mean, look at where Drew McIntyre was in 3MB. Like, look at where what's his face, Juice Robinson. Now he's United States champion in a whole other federation. Look at
real talent though. Like Sin Cara.
Yeah, no, but Sin Cara. I mean, Sin Cara's not bad. And what if Sin Cara wants to wrestle a couple people? He's been wrestling the same people for the last 8 years. Yeah. He was Triple H's first. I mean, the original Sin Cara, at least, was Triple H's first project.
Yeah, It fell flat on his face.
Yeah, I mean,
literally.
Well, yes, at various points. However, I can't blame him for wanting more. I mean, it is what it is. The man is a guy with pride, and I'm sure he's seeing all his, his fellow people, his Cain Velasquez, his Rey Mysterio, the Andrades, the Kalistos, the Lince Dorados, and seeing all the other people cook, and he's like, why not me?
But if I'm one of them, I'm like, oh shit, next man up. I mean, he didn't want it, we got it.
Because you think of things a different way. Some people aren't as next man up as you. Not as quickly to do next man up.
It's the corporate structure. Like, it's just how things are. People get way too attached to shit. Like, I could see if it was like Kevin Owens leaving would be like huge. Well, of course. I'd be like, but I would agree with it. Like, I agree that his booking is terrible.
Right.
I'd agree that he might be able to make a difference somewhere. I think he'd be a bigger asset somewhere else than a freaking Shawn Spears. I think he'd make a bigger impact than freaking Jon Moxley.
I mean, the only other flash of brilliance I know from Sin Cara was when he was Hunico. And I don't know much else outside of that. But I'd be willing to at least take a look. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, I wish the Sin Cara the best. I don't think they're going to grant your release. It doesn't seem like it. They only grant releases to people that they strongly dislike.
They only grant releases to people that suck. So for them to not release Sin Cara, Botch Machine, Botch Master, it says a lot.
I mean, he got 3 years off in the deal. That's 3 years of labor. That they could essentially use. So I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at it from both sides. But you know what, Sin Cara, if you can get it, by all means, go get it. I'm sure the locker room, might get a little raucous afterwards.
It's somebody. They're definitely wilding for respect after he leaves.
The hands, the known hands, as our friend Ben Coyle would say, undefeated in unscripted fights. It just leaves a gaping hole, a black hole in the locker room.
Speaking of gaping holes and bleeding.
Whoa, okay. Well, no. All right, now that's a double.
That's a double whoa.
Yeah, that's a double whoa. But let's see where you're going with this.
AEW had a pay-per-view.
Oh, wow.
As soon as you mention AEW, my dog just goes rabid. He starts biting me.
Okay.
They had full gear. over the weekend, and right before a lot of people were complaining because honestly, there weren't a lot of matches announced until literally days before the pay-per-view was set to air. Doesn't that sound familiar, Meelz?
Yeah, it happened at WWE pay-per-view, like probably
a month ago.
last one. Yeah, it happened. We were all confused of what was going on with that pay-per-view. Nonetheless,
where's that energy? I don't know. It's crazy, right? But one of those matches that was announced was Shawn Spears versus Joey Janela. If you don't know who Shawn Spears is, he's the 10 guy. He's Ty Dillinger. I left a picture. Well, I saw MJ put a picture up in our elite group chat.
Okay.
And I took the picture, the screen capture of the match graphic up, and I said, y'all would pay $50 for this? And I just sent the tweet, and I forgot about it. I sent it out in the world, and I said, I forgot about it. Go ahead, Meelz. Go ahead.
To be fair, no matter what was on the card, you'd be hard-pressed for me to pay $50 for a pay-per-view. WWE has just changed the climate so crazily with the $10 a month thing. I'm paying $10 a month for pay-per-views and a billion of other things, man. People paying $7 for all the Disney shows. You think I'm paying $50 for one show, one day? I can't even watch it over and over.
When all the Disney shows are over, because here's my thing, like, I guess the Marvel stuff, that's what people would go for. Because I'm like, when you're finished watching Brink, then what?
I mean, when
you're between seasons of The Mandalorian, are you going to go watch Lady and the Tramp? Like, I don't.
Wow, you really? I hope all the Disney Plus people.
What? I'm just asking a question.
Just like the AEW people is an holy alliance of Disney and AEW comes to get you.
Well, they come. Listen, who's been able to stop me yet? The Barbs haven't stopped me. The European Wrestling Coalition hasn't been able to stop me.
Hey, man, don't invite that energy. Don't invite that energy. Keep it going as it's going, man. Don't invite that energy.
I'm just saying, I just don't see, like, after Darkwing Duck ends.
Good Lord, Kobe White, man.
Where else? What do you do now?
No. He just hit another 3. The man is legitimately sending David Fizdale out to the projects. Like,
well, speaking of the projects,
and someone on the Knicks just hit an air ball. Like, oh my God.
Speaking of the projects, I put that picture out in the air.
Sure.
Somehow, and I didn't even tweet him, so someone must have sent him the link. Honestly, I have no clue how he found it. There was no way for Shawn Spears to find it on Twitter. He responded to me.
There's got to be somebody who's just, they got to be in a group chat, and it's like, AEW group chat. I'm sure it's this.
I probably know who it was too.
Ty Dillinger.
I'm sure I know who sent it. It had to be. I'm sure I know who sent it. But I didn't read the tweet. I'm going to be honest with you. I just responded with, get a job, and I blocked him.
Here's what I would have done.
I don't need to ever see him again.
I don't know. In terms of what I mean, yours was a very quick response. I probably would have gone a lot deeper because to be fair, to be really real, as much as it is really real, he has been the only person in the past year who's asked for his release. And they granted that quicker than a hiccup.
Bro, you would have waited in a Chick-fil-A line longer.
Yeah,
than it took for him to get released.
So Shawn Spears really has no way to talk or anything rather. But I mean, and that was a weak comeback. Well, because come on, fisting jokes. What are we in?
Yeah, I saw the fisting thing, and I was somebody
ninth grade.
Oh, I was like, bro, what?
Like there wasn't even no context to that. Like you're just making up jokes now. I feel like he's generally, in terms of his just entire Twitter persona, I think now he's trolling people because clearly he is not the best.
He's not over in anything else. He's not,
and he knows it. So now he's using that as kind of fuel to kind of put over this persona as just this troll online. Is just like, I'm gonna be on your TVs and taking all your money no matter what. But I'm like, yeah, but everyone knows you're not good, and now you're just kind of like refuting it, and now you're trying to play it up, but it's kind of actually sad in retrospect. I don't know what to say. Shawn Spears, 2 thumbs down, 10 thumbs down. They need to
Kobe White him. Someone needs to Kobe White him right now.
This is true.
And outdo him, because I thought it was going to be Joey Janela, and it wasn't. I know they're going to get to this on the War Report So we're not going to spend too much time on Full Gear.
Right.
But I believe
make sure you check out the War Report on Friday, hosted by MJ and Cyrus.
Yes, they're going to talk about this show and everything that happens with NXT, as well as AEW Dynamite and the Full Gear review. I'll just really quickly. I watched it on Monday. I wasn't able to watch it live. It was an okay show. It was okay. I thought the Cody match was actually good. I'm not gonna lie.
The Cody match is the Cody and Jericho match. Listen, didn't go 60 minutes. That's good enough for me.
Thank God. Well, here's the thing with the Cody match. It was like it was so good. Then they did the end. Then they did the turn, and I was like, I just felt like the turn was just like, why did you do it so early? But that's a big problem I have with AEW as a whole, is that they seem to be rushing through programs. Like, I thought the Moxley Omega thing, that should have been saved for at least when they do All In or All Out or whatever again next year. That seemed like a big blow off.
I mean, this is their last pay-per-view of the year, so there's not really a major show to kind of go off of, so they would have to wait. I mean, I don't know when their next pay-per-view is. Another months from now, at least in 2020, so I understand why. Maybe they sort of like, all right, let's do this because this is our last big pit stop of the year. But, I understood everything leading up to the turn. Yeah, I think the turn was kind of soon. I think they could have milked it a little bit earlier, but I don't think anyone sees. I mean, everyone kind of predicted what MJF would do. So, you know what? More power to him. Bargain store Miz.
Your quick thoughts on the main event, the death match between Moxley and Omega.
So one of my best friends, he loves that match. He says it was awesome. He saw all the other things. I not as much. And not to say that I don't like it. I didn't like it, but I just thought, at some point it just became brutality for the sake of brutality.
Yeah.
Which is fine because they found kind of like innovative ways to hurt one another. But then it's like, where do you go with the ending, right? Like, does someone actually blow up? Or like, is something? So it kind of
you get into Fiend territory.
It's then you kind of, I won't say they fell flat with the ending, but compared to the stuff that went on previously in the match.
Well, to me, like, that ending was just ridiculous because it was like, why is Kenny doing a Phoenix Splash onto wood?
Why is there wood still under the ring though in 2019? I was like, wood? We're still doing that? But yes,
believe it or not, I think WWE still does that. I think.
Yes, I know they still do that. Yeah. So it's friggin' weird. Yeah. You thought something else would have been invented or something. But yeah, I mean, why is he doing Phoenix Splash onto the wood? Like, what? There's no give. There's no bounce. There's no impact. I mean, I guess he would absorb everything, but it wouldn't be the same as if there was an actual mat.
Yeah, I mean, again, I thought it was an okay show.
I thought it was a fine show. I sat through it. I watched it. I had some things on in the background. I had some things that I paid attention to. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't great.
Of course, Roman barks.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's get off of AEW. Maybe that'll calm him down.
So we also have the announcement that Stone Cold is returning to the WWE Network. I really like WWE's new approach to content. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to try the Stone Cold thing again. I think they're finally going to get The Undertaker. Remember, they couldn't do it last time. And I think starting off with him again with this new show is a great idea. I think he's ready to talk about more stuff. More things have happened since the streak, because if you remember 4 years ago, that was really the only thing they had to talk about was the streak. I
mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, that was a headline point, but The Undertaker at that point still had like 25 years on his career.
Yeah, but I mean, that was like what Stone Cold wanted him on the show to talk about. That's what I mean.
I mean, he hasn't done much since. I mean, besides the Goldberg thing, it's like I'm not sure what they would talk about, but it does seem to be a 2-hour interview, which I like.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that thing right after Survivor Series goes off. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I don't know if I'll be able to watch 2 hours after I just watched 5 hours of wrestling, but I'll definitely catch it. I'll probably watch it at work, to be honest with you, or listen to it at work. However, it looks good. I like the show. I like that they're bringing it back. I like that it's got a kind of a new vibe. The live thing seems to be done with. but I did like the live Steve Austin show. I liked it live after Raw type of thing. I thought it was a great, honestly. And we can talk about the WWE's new Tuesday post show that was probably going to start airing.
Oh yeah, I did tell you as soon as it went off, we got to talk about it this week.
Right. So, but I thought the Raw. The live Stone Cold podcast after Raw's, I thought that was a great idea. I don't see why I think after that whole Ambrose
that killed it. Ambrose killed it.
Yeah, I think he 100% killed it. So now they're doing tape stuff, but it's not bad. If they're able to get people like The Undertaker, if they're actually able to get people that we don't hear from on a normal basis, I honestly would love to see Stone Cold interview The Rock, but The Rock has no time.
Yeah.
For anything.
For anything.
Actually, he does have time, but his time is always equal money. He has time to show up at UFC. He has time to show up on the premiere Fox, but he's not going to sit for 2 hours and listen to Stone Cold and drink beers with him.
There ain't much to talk about. I think I heard a rumor that the reason why Stone Cold didn't come out at the SmackDown in LA was because The Rock came out, and he just felt as though you got The Rock. I mean, I don't need to come out.
Yeah. I mean, quite honestly, yes. Yes, it would seem their careers since the Attitude Era have taken much of a distant,
And that's fine.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's fine. We didn't need Stone Cold at SmackDown, to be honest with you. Yeah, you have Stone Cold moments on SmackDown, and he didn't have that many, to be honest with you.
You also had Stone Cold open the show that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember? Well, we saw it in Staples. We saw him intro the show.
Oh,
it was a Titantron thing. It was a pre-taped Titantron thing. It was like to get you.
Yeah, you saw it in Staples. I didn't see that at all.
Oh, okay.
Or I don't remember it at all. We have just memories. Just doesn't work as well.
Back to WWE's new initiative for original content. I'm really enjoying After the Bell, but I'm like with Corey Graves. I thought his rant on the Saudi Arabia thing would probably piss off a lot of people. Probably make a lot of people call him a company man, but I mean, honestly, a lot of things he said on that
works
episode
for the company.
Yeah, like exactly.
Like really?
Like who isn't a company man at the company? Like
yeah. At this point,
this isn't like when you work at Popeyes and you guys are all in the back trying to stage a revolt over the chicken sandwich. Like
yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the Corey Graves show, honestly, they've done a lot of original content. I think Corey Graves After the Bell has done great work. I've listened to both weeks. Both weeks have been fantastic. He's managed to give some information that people definitely want to hear. And as long as they can continue to sort of keep that up, I think it'll be a continued success, especially if he's able to tackle things with big names, on the current roster who may be going through some things. Maybe he talks to Sin Cara about how he feels about, just generally how his career has went and, negotiations and et cetera like that. Maybe he talks to him about that.
Or maybe he gives his opinion on people going on Twitter with the release stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that could also be a thing too, and yeah, he might catch the hands of Sin Cara, but it, I think it would make for just something that's real. And my biggest critical, critique of the WWE sort of content, it's been completely like WWE produced WWE things. Like there's only a certain line you can step, and they seem to be treading a little bit over that line. I'm not mad. I also enjoy. I kind of enjoy it. I enjoy the bump.
The bump seems interesting. I haven't been able to watch it live because I'm usually on the way to work when it airs.
It's 100% a fan show. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the interactions they have with the WWE superstars are probably the best thing there because you kind of get to see them in their kind of lighter element and not as serious or not in kayfabe or anything like that. I just think, it's. You know what? I'm not going to give my actual factual thoughts on it. But it could use a little bit more of an edge. I think so. But
I think it has to do with the hosts. I'm going to keep it 100. And
okay.
All right, shout out to Emilio and everyone. He doesn't have anything to do with that show, but he has something to do with After the Bell, which I think is amazing. Shout out to him. I think the hosts are just not cool. Like,
yeah,
I can accept Kayla. Because she's established. We see her every week. But where they pull these guys from?
I'm not sure either. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're fans, which is great. But yes, they're not cool at
That
all.
black dude don't speak to me. When I saw Triple H tweet his name, like his @ name, and I saw what his @ name was, I was like, holy
I don't want to do that to the brother.
Have you seen his @ name?
I don't want to do it to him. I just think it could use a little bit more edge, could use a little bit more cool factor. I don't want to do that to him. I'm sure he's doing, he's great to even have the opportunity to do what he does and talk about what he does. But yes, the show needs to be a little bit more cool. Don't get me wrong. It's the most marquee show.
It's a cool concept.
Yeah, it's a great concept. I thought just the look of it is fun. Man, I wish I was on it. That's kind of maybe why I'm not a thing. Like, I wish I was on the bump. But we'll see what happens from there. I think that sort of show. What else do they have in the wings? Let's talk about the
Backstage.
Yeah, let's talk about the Fox Sports show. How did you feel about it last week? It's at an interesting time that I don't particularly like, but I also kind of like it because after we finish recording this podcast, I can legitimately go lie down and watch the show and go to bed.
Yeah, I think that it's an amazing. Well, the time slot is. I mean, fuck the time slot. It's on a channel that nobody watches.
Yeah,
and
at a time that no one watches TV. I mean, if you're watching that, you're watching. I think most of America at 11 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, they're either about to go to sleep, they're watching movies, or they're watching like other late night shows that are probably way more.
Or today they're watching Brink and Darkwing Duck.
That is a fact. But I think overall, you know what? They're doing some cool things. I like Christian. I like Booker T.
Well, he might not be back this week. I think it's going to be a rotating guest.
He was there the last 2 weeks, so I don't know.
Was he?
Yeah,
because they don't even mention him in the bumper.
Yeah, well, they don't mention Paige neither, but she's been there since the beginning as well. Like, I think they got a nice and I think Christian is just great in that position. I think Paige is good in that position. I think Renee is excellent. Booker T is excellent. We're still.
Well, I love that the presentation is very much different than everything that they do with these types of shows. Remember what it felt like when you first watched the Confidential?
Yes, or I knew you'd say Confidential.
Or Live Wire. Like, this is just something that they never do. And it really like drives home that, this is a sports thing. Like the ticker. I think I texted you like this ticker at the bottom is like really cool. Like right. it had breaking news, and I think the big thing last week was Randy Orton.
You can get at 11 p.m. on.
Yeah, but and also Randy's outscooped them by announcing it literally minutes before the show aired. But it had really cool. It had Ryan Satin, who whether you're a fan of his or not, is cool as the insider. He's able to do that job.
He's a reputable insider. I'll say that.
Yeah, he is.
I wouldn't say he's cool. That haircut, their hairstyle or haircut.
Not him. I said it's cool.
It is cool that they brought him on board. I think and he's definitely. I think he's reformatting his show a little bit now because of it. I think he's going to actually get some great interviews out of this. So that's a pretty good scoop for him. But yeah, I think I just think the general idea of it is cool. It's trying to continue to legitimize pro wrestling in a way that you can hope to legitimize it on Fox. But I think every week we're going to get something random new. Like, for instance, like Randy Orton signs a new deal. I'm sure that was done weeks ago or maybe even months ago. And they decided, hey, we need to save that for like a big sports scoop on the show because wrestling still has no Woj. Like, it doesn't have a Woj. It doesn't have something.
Well, I don't want Satin to be the Woj. I'm cool with Sean Ross Sat being the Woj here.
I'm 100%. But I think the sport, I think it definitely it needs a Woj. It needs a type of energy around it that seems a lot more sudden, a lot more quickly in terms of just news. But it's not bad. I like the show.
My favorite part is the in promo thing where they do practice promos on each other. I think it's fun. Seeing Christian cut a promo again is really cool. And Booker, I like that.
Cool. I feel like they need
You're just too serious, Meelz. Like, what else?
I'm too serious.
Corny stuff the corny shit's cool. Like, I think if AEW had a show like this, I'd watch that too.
You know what? I'm not gonna hold you. Their full year before their countdown show, it was really good. Really well produced.
I didn't watch it. And the thing is, like, I know it's well produced, but like, I know the show didn't live up to that in any way, shape, or form.
I haven't been catching AEW week by week, like, actively, but it kind of caught me up on all the personalities and everybody that I needed to know, and I thought that was pretty good. It sold me on the Rio and what's her face's match.
Their 265th match or something like that.
Yeah, imagine selling us on that. Oh
my god! I just realized they were live. Like we're live. No, I mean like we're live on YouTube. We're not private right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anybody's listening to us though.
No, I hope not. No, I'm not to J5.
I'm not cutting this either. But okay. Let's get into the shows for
subscribe
this week.
Subscribe to J5.
Let's get into the shows for this week. Very uneventful. Yeah, like very uneventful. Well, I would really just.
Can we pitch more network shows?
Well, what would our network show be? Our network
show?
Yeah.
All right. So let's say You know what? So all right. So here's my idea for the.
We'd have to change our name.
The A show? FI here.
We have to. If you want to put that in the contract, that we gotta.
Oh, they want to take our name. No, they wouldn't be able to take the name.
No. Yeah, no.
We'd have to change your name. It would be like Two Dope Black Guys. But
two dope marks. It should be the bootlickers.
Sure
they already
name.
It should be the bootlickers because that's what they call us anyway.
I've always wanted to do the kind of first take thing because I just feel like generally our show has that energy anyway. And one of us can be Stephen A. Smith and one of us can be Max Kellerman. I will not say who. But I will be Stephen A. Smith. But
what?
However,
am I Kellerman?
You might be Max Kellerman. People don't. No,
I would never say anything as crazy as Kawhi is better than Kobe. I'd never say that.
We can both be Stephen A. How about that?
Let's ask the people who is Stephen A. Who is Kellerman or who is Skip?
I'm Stephen A. I know I'm Stephen A. So it just is what it is. I'm sorry. Hate to break it to you. I'm Stephen A.
I can be Skip. I can be Skip.
Skip?
I can be Skip. I think I'm the Skip. I really do think I'm the Skip. I might be the Skip Bayless of wrestling Twitter because everyone gets so upset at everything I say for no reason.
Oh my God. Someone Photoshop us into that sort of ordeal, and let's pitch it to the network. I think it would be a great idea. That's my thing. Also, some fun stuff. Maybe can we just like set up backstage at a show and try to flag down people to talk to us? That would be interesting.
That would be so dope. Let's pocket these ideas for someone steals it. Yeah.
All right. Don't steal it. It's a trademarked. I just trademarked it right now. Verbally trademarked. Don't steal it.
2 uneventful shows this week for the WWE.
They tried. They really.
We're in lull season. We are in literally.
That's the UK. It's just the UK.
These shows used to be fun, right?
No,
never.
It never was fun. The one time it was fun was in AJ beat Jinder Mahal,
or when the HBK Cena thing.
That too. These were never fun. This was the UK show. The last year's UK show happened the week after Becky Lynch got punched in the face.
Oh yeah, she didn't even show up.
Yeah. Like these shows have never been fun, to be real with you.
And everyone was saying we want Becky that night. Remember that?
Right. Now I think in general they try to combat that by having big championship matches, which we did get on SmackDown.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure it makes you happy. I'm sure it makes you feel like everything is right in the world as it is right now because Kofi Kingston and Big E are now SmackDown Tag Team Champions for the 7th time.
No, things aren't made right for me.
I feel like that. Yes. No, I feel yes. This is where you feel like Kofi should be, right? Like this is where you think Kofi should just. This is his element, right?
Meelz, all right, let's end that narrative. I was happy for him.
I'm not ending the narrative.
There's no narrative. I said
laughing at who when one lost the WWE Championship.
I was clearly you're getting caught up. I was clearly messing with you that night because you said it wouldn't happen. And I said it's got to happen because they're
Never
not
said it wouldn't happen. Never said it wouldn't happen. I just said I hoped it wouldn't happen.
All right, somebody go back into the archives because
you can look it up.
I seem to remember something way different than that.
You can look it up. But it is what it is. However,
I think that it's cool that they made him whole there by giving him a title. It's the same thing they did with Bryan. Literally, as soon as Bryan lost the WWE title, he got the tag title, and he still had something.
Okay, Bryan's been a 5-time champion.
Well, that's not even what we're comparing. I don't even know why you said that. Like, that's not what we're comparing. They made him whole by saying that, you know what, we had to take this off of you, but hey, hold on to this until it's time for you to be in contention again. That's all they did. Bryan got put. They put the tag titles on him, and they put him right back in the storyline. They can't put Kofi in a title storyline because it's just he's not fighting the Fiend. Meelz, like it's just not gonna happen. I think he's gonna get it. But here's the thing: if it makes you feel any better, I think he's gonna get it back.
I don't think he's gonna get it back.
Well, where's the thing? If he had to walk so Ricochet could run,
what?
So be it.
Ricochet's a punk.
So be it.
We'll talk about on Raw how much of a punk he is.
Oh, whatever, man. New Day won. Well, here's the thing. I'm glad that he won the titles because we don't have to see the freaking Revival in that match slowing everything down on Survivor Series.
I like the Revival. I thought it was either way. I thought it would be a great match. It was kind of heel heavy, so I understood why they kind of did it.
Well, the Viking Raiders. Oh, they're the only faces in the team. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it was very heel heavy. There's not much to sort of cheer about in this thing. The Viking Raiders are still relatively new. Now you have an established tag team who can kind of draw attention. You have Kofi Kingston and Big E. Now we're gonna also have the Viking Raiders, who are seemingly unstoppable. Then you're also
about the Viking Raiders. I mean, they lost the crown jewel, so now you realistically there's a chance they could, you take away that aura of the unbeaten streak and you make it anybody's game now that they've lost.
Right,
before.
And now you have them. You have Viking Raiders once again going up against the Undisputed Era, who they've beaten before in the past.
Yeah.
They've had great matches before within the past. So I think honestly it's a great card nonetheless. I know why people would be complaining about the Revival, but also honestly it's still a great match, and it's probably even a better match.
How are you complaining about the Revival being replaced with undisputedly one of the greatest tag teams of the decade?
Yeah.
I don't understand. They like them. I'm sorry, as far as even if you like them or not, as far as accolades, they don't even come close to the New Day. At all.
This is true. I mean, but the Revival are good. I'm sure this continues the Revival's narrative of us not being appreciated enough.
Other big things that happened. Imperium showed up, but that would be a storyline that was continued on Raw, obviously because the two shows were taped back to back. But it was really cool to see them on SmackDown. You also had the first members of the women's team on the SmackDown 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. This match is going to take forever. This show is going to be long as hell, by the way. That's starting to take shape with Sasha Banks being the team captain. I guess she's ready to go. She picked up a win against Nikki Cross. But Dana Brooke and Carmella on the SmackDown side.
Listen, their ship is sunk.
Yeah, I got no
faith. To be fair, the competition not truly much better, to be honest with you. If it was Mandy and Sonya, I might have been more excited. However,
are they intentionally trying to stack the NXT team to make us think they're going to win? Because
NXT only has stars.
Yeah.
Unless they decided to put the Virtuoso and Chelsea Green on the team out of nowhere, they only have stars. And not to say that's anything against them, but
because even if you take them out, you have Tegan, you could potentially have Rhea again.
You have Kai. You have
Dakota Kai. Well,
you have Mia. You have Tanara. You have who else we got?
Born, maybe
Zia Lee. You like
Zia Lee is possible. I think. I mean, you dig even deeper there. I mean, you have a lot of women. Their depth chart is crazy.
Yeah,
on NXT. I don't. You could just pull Bianca Belair out. Like it's
honestly,
it's
I think they're going to do double duty over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know why I was stopping thinking that they were gonna do double duty. Those NXT men and women are definitely working twice over the weekend. So
Yeah.
as soon as I saw Undisputed was in that match, I was like, yeah, they're pulling
games teams on the same team for Survivor Series. Do you do that?
And that's an even more interesting match because it's face and heel heavy. So
yeah,
it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, here's one thing I didn't appreciate on SmackDown. One thing.
What's that?
Sasha Banks' new music. Not a fan.
Not a fan either. I think it's lazy. I don't like the way that it goes back into the original music after Snoop's verse.
It's so clunky. It's so not. It's so nah. I just pictured the LeBron meme, and I don't even want to do the. But the LeBron meme of just the music coming out, I'm just like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. It was good to try overseas. Don't bring it back to States. Leave it over there.
Oh, I think they absolutely are bringing it back to the States. Okay. You also had Shayna Baszler show up on the show. Very
showed up on both shows.
Yeah, showed up on both shows. She was working last week. I'll tell you what. There weren't any other NXT USA guys that showed up on either show that last week. But I believe that's because they had to show up on their respective loops over the weekend. Mm-hmm. SmackDown is not going to make me watch a Baron Corbin Roman Reigns match, so I turned it off before that. So that was SmackDown.
Yep. I don't even want to talk about that match. So
these shows are so low stakes. They need a real shakeup. I know, but even before that, it like I don't feel as though I need to. And I've been doing it for the past month, but I feel like I don't need to like really worry about watching SmackDown on Fridays.
Nah, it's not. I knew this from the beginning. First of all, the time slot is a killer. Second of all, but just the way things shook out in the draft for them, nothing showed up in their favor. They had Brock Lesnar and then they lost him, and they got nothing in return. I don't want to hear about this Alexa Bliss and Nikki thing because that's not a fair trade for Brock Lesnar. It's just not. Especially now Alexa Bliss is injured and Nikki Cross kind of is aimlessly walking around with no best friends. So it's not a fair trade. They should have passed someone else. Quite honestly, if they'd sent Seth over to SmackDown, I think it would have bolstered it a little bit too. Yeah,
that would have been a lot more.
Because then you have Seth and Roman. You have that sort of deal. At any point, you could turn Seth on Roman. You kind of continue the stupid the thing with the Fiend.
Oh God! Speaking of.
Oh yeah.
The
It wasn't shown in the tapings, but it was shown on the show.
Thing. Yeah. Do you think that's if that's shooting for Survivor Series, this might be the greatest show of all time?
It's a shoo-in. Daniel Bryan will make it make sense on SmackDown this week. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It'll go from that moment to a promo to a match all in one night.
100%. That was SmackDown. On to Raw. I felt these 3 hours on this UK show, I swear. And it hasn't been, I'm not going to lie, it hasn't been like this for me for the past month for Raw, but this UK show like really dragged. It really dragged for me here.
Yeah, I think.
Lots of things happened, including a really long 24/7 segment. But the women's tag match, is it me or is like the Kabuki Warriors are working for me, but I feel like no one's willing to like really work as hard as they are in the ring.
I like the Kabuki Warriors. I think they're the only champions that seem to be like actual domineering in a bit, or in terms of just like they're actually putting in the work. However, I mean, they haven't had a seriously credible thread. I mean, for some reason, did they explain why Natalya wasn't on the show?
Yes, they did. They explained that she had a family. She had a family engagement that she had to go to, so Becky stepped in for her.
Why they promoted it on SmackDown and then switcherooed it on Raw, even though it was taped in the same night?
I mean, continuity's sake, I think they already knew Natalya wasn't going to be there. I think she might have found out because it was something she had to go to for her father.
Right.
And I think she might have just found out she had to do it, or she couldn't miss it. So it makes sense. I know there was a certain wrestling journalist that was pissed off about it, but they did explain it when Becky came out at the top of the show.
Yeah. You know what? I think this match continues the furthering of this potential Asuka versus Becky Lynch feud.
Oh, it's absolutely happening. I mean, Asuka and Kairi Sane are the only two women that have pinned or beaten Becky Lynch in 2019, other than Charlotte. So it's three women that have beaten her so far. And I mean, that's pretty esteemed company for one Kairi Sane. I'll say that much.
I'll say that as well. So you know what? It ends to a means. We got our post Survivor Series match, but in the meantime, Shayna Baszler showed up.
Yeah, once again,
Bayley showed up.
Bayley showed up and beat that ass.
And
she changed her clothes too, because she knew this was going to air on Monday. Changed her whole outfit.
What a professional, right? What a professional. Chris Novak only stands the best.
How'd you feel about the Seth Rollins, Walter to Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Street Profits Imperium match? What a pop for Kevin Owens, huh?
It's good to see him. It's good to see him.
What are they doing with him? What are they doing with him?
Nothing. A whole bag of nothing. But it's good to see him. I think it's a pop. Basically, people miss him, and you're like, hey, why isn't Kevin Owens on the show? So I think it's good. They don't seem to have anything to do for him, particularly. But he's on the show.
I'll go on a limb here.
Mm-hmm.
I think, okay, let's just go ahead and say they announced the men's Survivor Series team. They're doing this all like willy-nilly.
They did announce the men's Survivor Series team, though.
Yes, they did. The men's Survivor Series team is, let me pull this up so I don't get it wrong.
It is Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Drew
McIntyre, Ricochet, and Randy Orton. I think there's intersecting stories in that match. Other than Drew, he has nothing going on.
Perpetual nothing.
I think if you're going to do the Seth turn, I think you do Seth KO in the winner up to TLC through Royal Rumble. I think if you want to make KO the top face on Raw, that's what you do. They had great matches in 2017, 2016.
I guess. I mean,
it's something. It's better than Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn or Daniel Bryan or
Kevin Owens versus Drew McIntyre, to be honest with you.
I don't know. He beat him already. He beat him on SmackDown when he was on SmackDown. He already did.
But
I
don't mean you could beat him again. There's this other intersecting storyline between Ricochet and Randy Orton. Not sure how I feel about it yet.
I think it's gonna bang, but I think just the optics of Randy Orton just being a serial N-word sayer just makes it a lot worse.
I don't know. Ricochet's a punk. He's a punk.
You mad, bro?
He's such a.
You mad, bro?
He's such a punk.
Crazy. It's so crazy how mad you are, bro.
He's a punk, man. He's a punk. You saw what he did on Twitter? He was like, I don't know, with these other guys that I'm teaming with, it could be wild for me. I was like, man, you better step up to somebody if they decide to turn on you. What is wrong with you? Why are you such a punk, bro?
Chill out, man.
Stop. Run up the wall, kick somebody. Like, come on. Get some work in.
Meelz logic, everyone. Meelz logic.
Listen,
you got to disrespect my GOAT. You disrespect my GOAT, but your GOAT is curtain jerking.
You're the only one who showed up with a Halloween costume.
Hey, he gonna be on the kickoff show? Kofi gonna be on the kickoff show? Or what? What's up?
Kofi ain't gonna be on the kickoff show.
Is Kofi gonna meet the Fiend?
Wow. See, this is what I'm talking about.
All right.
This is what I'm talking about.
See, you talk spicy, I talk spicy. What's up?
Okay. Ricochet's a punk.
You a punk.
End of story.
Kofi a punk.
End of story.
Tell Kofi go ice Xavier ACL, bro, or his Achilles, whatever the hell that is.
It was his leg.
Tell him go ice that. Tell him go ice that up.
Oh my god.
Tell him go turn the PS4 on, go play.
Well,
sucker. He a sucker.
Ricochet is also a sucker. Nonetheless.
Anyway, whatever. I mean, you a sucker, bro. Whatever.
I mean, nothing happened on Raw. There's not even anything to talk about.
No, something big happened on Raw. You just don't want to talk about it. The Lana Rusev segment that everyone's talking about. The 15-pound Machka baby inside of her.
Yo, was this one of those Bischoff storylines that never made it? Because it didn't seem like they have a particular
Endgame?
Yeah. I feel like we're gonna end up and it's gonna be like the end of the video Same Girl.
Oh god. Same girl.
Is that song problematic now? Maybe for Usher.
Oh yeah, for Usher it is.
Because Usher got herpes and R. Kelly's R. Kelly.
Oh my god. I think this ends with, I mean, knowing Paul Heyman, this ends with Lana
Tag team.
definitely. Yeah, this ends with them being a tag team, a cuck tag team, which, trust me, again, nothing would make me more excited
Cuck
than
tag team.
A cuck team.
Oh
we
my
know
God.
what would be more hilarious if they
Make that
beat
the title of the
Viking Raiders.
show.
It'd
I
be
will
more
change
hilarious.
the artwork.
It'd be more hilarious if they beat the Viking Raiders. Because right now I don't see. Well, AOP's on Raw, so I see that's definitely happening, right? Like they're gonna meet the Viking Raiders. What?
Cuck tag teams, man. You can't buy that. You can't even sell that. So
Street Profits over in England. Also.
are they?
Yeah, they were.
All right.
I saw the same show you did. I don't know what show you was.
I don't know.
Anything else? I thought Viking Raiders had a great match with Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. Really good sprint.
I didn't really watch it, to be honest with you.
Oh God, there was a lot of freaking squashes on this show. And more like
There's a lot of. All right, so give me this. This is the last thing we'll probably talk about. What's their thing with Humberto Carrillo? What's going on here?
They had him beat AJ.
What's going on here?
They had him pin AJ. What?
Yeah, but AJ just whooped his ass 2 times.
That's how they listen. That's how they book AJ. Like AJ's booking is always really weird, and him being in the veteran role of like we can't really beat AJ too much. So when we beat him, it's got to be tags or it's got to be a fluke. It's been happening literally since like his first year in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Like he took a lot of clean losses the first year. After that, he took very little clean losses. He went a whole year without losing.
Yeah, without losing clean. Yeah.
Yeah, he went a whole year without losing.
I don't know what this Humberto Carrillo thing is. It seems like a Paul Heyman thing.
I think he's going to get the U.S. title. Right? Well, we said the same thing about Cedric Alexander.
Nah, right? If Cedric can't get it, why is Humberto Carrillo? I mean, you know what? More power to him.
You know why? Because I'm sorry, man. Humberto just looks better. He's just more handsome.
Wow.
Sorry. He's just more handsome. Them dimples.
This
They
is
set
true.
it off. The dimples set it off. I mean,
Cara is sweating right now.
You would, right?
I don't know. First, also, by the way, we forgot. Dulcie showed up on the NXT. That was pretty fun.
Oh man, the fact that we're not able to talk about this means that like I don't even put the NXT in my full
They
view.
beat
But
the hell. I mean, poor Bobby Fish, because his face hit that thing and
he spit up strawberry jam.
just blood instantly. I was like, whoa.
Let me commend those guys because having been in that little corridor behind Full Sail, it is very narrow, and those are very big guys.
This is true.
It's super narrow.
Commend their flexibility and their versatility to be to lay a smackdown in such a narrow corridor.
But that was a really fun episode of NXT. And I know we'll be talking to the War Report guys pretty soon. What's your opinion on NXT a month in? I think honestly the show's on a roll to me. I think it's the
better.
most. Yeah, it's the most enjoyable it's been to me in years. Like it has angles, stories, people have direction. There's not just a random squash every single week. I think adding the cruiserweights has done a lot to add more freshness to NXT. And I think every week they add a little thing that makes it a lot better. And it does feel different from everything on main roster.
Here's what I'll say about it. It seems to be, I would say this would equate to the tapings before a major pay-per-view where things actually happen as opposed to those other tapings after pay-per-view when they're just rematches and nothing happened.
Yeah.
I would equate it to that. I would want to see where they kind of go after War Games. I'm interested to see how they play off of a post-pay-per-view show. Like, how do we go from there? Do we put everything in reset mode, or do we kind of continue to play off and continue to keep the momentum with the various storylines going? And not just do a soft reset every time a pay-per-view is done. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. I think that would be a strong testament of the show. But yeah, man, listen, you taking up too much of my, what was it? WWE after show, WWE post show. What is it?
Okay. We gotta watch Backstage.
Backstage. You taking up too much backstage time, man.
We gotta watch it. I saw Samoa Joe on the TV a couple minutes ago.
Oh wow, you've been watching it. Oh, props to you,
man. Come on. As soon as the boy went to sleep, he's not asleep. I had to do it. So yes, that is another episode of the A Show.
thank you all for listening to us. I was about to say watching because I'm watching Backstage. Next week, Meelz, we will be
watching us if you're watching us on YouTube.
We will be talking to the War Report boys. You feel me? That is MJ and Cyrus will be running through the Survivor. It's next week, right? Survivor Series. Yeah, Survivor Series is next week.
Survivor Series is the week after next. Yeah, but that's our show.
Is it
the preview show? Preview show is going to be next week. It's going to be weird because we're not doing it before SmackDown, but who cares?
Oh yeah, you're right. SmackDown's whatever.
Yeah, we forgot.
So we once again, if you love what we're doing, listen to us at RNC Radio on SoundCloud and as well as iTunes and Spotify and Google and everywhere else, and also subscribe to our channel at the A Show RNC. You can just search the A Show. It will pop up. I think we're first. I checked it the other day. Someone was like, "Oh, you guys are first," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
All right.
So yeah, is there anything else you want to push, Meelz? I think we're going to be in a Pokemon stupor by next Tuesday.
Yeah, you can listen to the Mount Silver podcast with myself, Jeff, and Pat, where we preview the game. So in case you're going to buy the game coming this Friday, you can listen to that podcast, as well as the many other podcasts that we did kind of counting down to the game's release. You can listen to, all right, so boom, tomorrow we'll debut the Big Eyes podcast, which is hosted by Jamal, where he'll be talking about various, manga and things like that. I think we can put it under the umbrella of the nerdy stuff that we do, like Mount Silver and The Lookout. So if you're a fan of those podcasts, you'll love this podcast. It'll be short, sweet, and I don't know, sexy. I don't know.
Always sexy. We're the sexiest podcast network in the game.
Easily. And then, gosh, not much. Listen to It's a Challenge every week. It's a challenge. It's literally a challenge.
I love it. I don't watch the challenge, but I do like listening to It's a Challenge. I think that you have really come into your own, doing a show that I feel as though that you've been meant to do this whole time. I just smile whenever I listen to it.
It's pretty good.
It's good.
So listen to it.
Meelz doesn't like when I compliment him.
It's a pretty good show.
See?
But just listen to it. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Same A Show time, same A Show channel.
All right. Until next week. See you guys later.
Happy Rusev Day.